Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I am Monica of Millie and Monica over on the Poshmark app, where I am a full-time seller. And today I have a vintage spring haul for you. And these items are really fun because they are, of course, vintage, which I love to sell over on Poshmark. That is what I started selling as a seller over there. And these items are specifically, I think, great for spring. And we are now in February, and I just pulled all of these out of storage. So I'm really excited to share them with you, to share not only why I picked them up or why I've been storing them for so long, but also to share with you maybe some keywords to help you sell vintage over on Poshmark. So let's get started. One very important thing that you'll want to keep in mind is at the end of this video, after I do the haul, I have 2 funny stories to share with you. So if you are interested in those, you might want to stay tuned. Okay, so the first few things are tops actually, and this, I am wearing a vintage top. It's a vintage sweater, and I really love the little bobble texture to the sweater, and I really love this color. I love these pastel like purpley colors, and if you can kind of see, this pile here is a lot of pastels and spring-like colors. So this first item is actually another pastel-y purple color, and I really kind of like some of these blouses that are kind of a 70s, early 80s vintage style, and they have kind of they have the button down. Sometimes shirts like this don't button all the way down, they're kind of a pop over, but this one buttons all the way down or all the way up, and it has the ruffle design, and I think that's pretty cute. It also has a little poof at the shoulders, and it's just a gorgeous purple. I think that this would be really, really fun, just worn with some like black jeans and maybe like a white cardigan over top. I think that'd look really cute. The next top is this really fun vintage blouse again, but it has a super fun collar, and I'm guessing actually that this top is handmade. Now if you look at the collar, it has this like little lace and they're little ducks. There's a little duck pattern, which is super unique. I've never seen anything quite like that. Let's get back into focus here maybe. Okay, so again, this one is has a blouse, so it buttons down. It's kind of semi-sheer, and I picked it up because of the duck design. I think that's so fun. Now this piece I think is handmade or homemade because there's no tags. Now that doesn't always mean that it's a homemade piece, but when I look at the seams, I am guessing that someone made this just by how the seams are. And if you're wondering how I would even know that, is because I've done a lot of sewing. My mom does a lot of sewing, and even though I'm not a great seamstress, there's just certain things that you notice and you start to recognize, especially when someone has maybe made it themselves. And so the first thing like that kind of tells me this might be handmade is like some of the seams are like really nice and neat and even, and other ones are just kind of raw. So here, this one's been serged and this one's just raw because it was like the factory edge of the material. So I am guessing whoever made that like knew it would be fine left like that, and so they just left it. That's kind of the main reason. There's a couple of other things that I notice about it, but yeah, that's the main thing. So this is just a really fun, it's kind of a 70s style. And again, I think this would be so cute, like a retro, for a retro outfit. It could be paired with black jeans, white pants, or whatever. It's just, you could even wear this with white shorts. That'd be super cute. Okay, and then this next one is a top as well, but this, I don't know, like I love the print again. There's little strawberries on it, and they're kind of a textured strawberry. They have a little velvet texture, which is really unique. And the material itself is textured too. It's kind of a waffle knit, and it is actually a, what do you call this? A one-piece thing, or a bodysuit. I think that's more accurate. So this would be really cute, again, paired with maybe white shorts, out on a boat, sailing. I don't know, I like to imagine what the person wearing this, where they would wear it to. Maybe even like the 4th of July, since it's red, white, and blue. Like that would be kind of fun. The bottom does have the snap closure, and all the snaps are in place. Now this has been washed, so it's all good to go. So a little backstory on some of these items. A lot of them are from the same place, actually, and they were purchased by my grandmother, and she maybe kept them, and then somehow I managed to get them from her because she lives in North Dakota and I live in Minnesota. So she found a source of vintage in North Dakota near where she lives, and a lot of these items were purchased from the lady that she met up there, and a lot of these items were actually the lady's personal items. So I don't know how old she is. I would say she's around 70 or 80, and she has just a house. It's not really a house. I don't even know. I know she doesn't live there, but it's a multi-level unit that she has just tons and tons of clothes in. And every once in a while, she puts a garage sale sign out and sells a bunch of clothing that is apparently hers, her children, her grandchildren's clothing, and it's just there. I have pretty much cleaned her out of vintage clothing between my mom, my grandma, and myself. Every time we go there, we kind of clean her out. So a lot of these items came from her, and so they're very similar in sizing because they came from one person. Now this is just a really fun floral print. This is more of an 80s, early 90s style dress. It's a midi, it'd be a midi length on me. It's got an elastic back, it's fitted at the waist, it has shoulder pads. I just really like the print, and I've sold a few pieces like this. Because a lot of vintage pieces are not like name brands or particular brands, it's really, really important to describe vintage pieces to your best ability with like every keyword possible. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot harder to move them, even if they are beautiful vintage pieces. So you're going to really want to describe them to your best ability, like, you know, what length is it? Is it a midi? Is it kind of a retro? Is it a pinup style dress? Is it floral? You know, is it sleeveless? You know, anything that you can think of to describe it. If it's a vintage, you want to use those keywords so that your buyer can find it, because they're not going to be searching for a particular name brand. I think I've talked about that a little bit before in other videos as well, especially if you know like the era in which it came from, you know, try to include that. Or do some research to try to figure out what era it's from, because those are good keywords as well. So this is another piece that came again from North Dakota. This piece I might not actually be able to sell though, but I want to show it to you because it's polka dots, and polka dotted items, keyword, do really well. Okay, so polka dotted items I love selling because just everyone seems to always want polka dots. Now this piece is slightly damaged and stained, which is why I'm not sure if I'm going to list it. I have tried to wash it like twice and get the stains out, but there's still some stains. There's actually some like bleach I think here, but there's a couple of stains like around this area somewhere. So I'm going to try to keep removing those, but this one's just super unique because not only is it polka dotted, it has like the sailor top, which is another great keyword, and this would look so fun on a sailboat. I just think that would be fun, and it's kind of like just like a pinup or retro fun style. I love the buttons, and it's kind of got a pencil type skirt with the little peplum. It is just so fun. Here's the back. I love it. I just love this. So the next couple pieces are actually I could use the word like sailor in the description as well, because they kind of have that sailor-esque nautical design. This one I would say is more of a 60s style dress because it's the shift like straight. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's just straight, like boop, like that's a shift style dress, and the material is kind of a polyester that's 100% polyester. It's very similar to fabrics of that time. I really like this bow detail, and I think maybe that tells you why I think it's kind of that nautical sailor-esque. There we go. Okay. It's got a back zip, and it's a back metal zip. Having a metal zipper is a really good indicator that it might be vintage if you think it's vintage. Modern pieces don't really use that type of zipper. Oh, it's not exactly all metal. But anyways, the zipper is a really good indicator of a vintage piece. Now this one does have a tag in it, so I don't think it's anything special. It says it's a size 11, but I think, again, I've talked about this, it's really, really important with vintage pieces to include measurements, because even though it's tagged vintage size 11, it doesn't mean it's going to fit a modern size 11. And I haven't measured this yet, so I can't really tell you what size I think it would fit right now. But looking at it, I would say more of a medium. Like, I don't know. And because of the shift style, it can fit probably a variety of different sizes depending on how you want it to fit. So it does have a little sleeve, and I really like these split, like, tulip sleeve. I don't know if that's the right name of it, but it reminds me of a tulip where it's split. It's super cute. Okay, moving on. This piece is actually not from North Dakota. This piece is from a reseller mystery box, and it's got these huge polka dots, which I love because it's polka dotted. This dress is pretty well constructed. It does have side pockets, which is always like are really important to buyers. They love dresses with side pockets. But like a couple of the other pieces, this one is stained. It has some stains on it, and I've washed this one now I think twice too, trying to remove stains, and a lot of the stains have come out. So I've been using OxiClean on this piece. But this one just has a lot of wear in general, which is common of vintage styles. And a lot of times if this is like a dress or a style that someone is really looking for, they might be more lenient towards it having flaws. But it's just, again, really important that you describe it and photograph it as best as possible and let the buyer know that there are stains and flaws, because they just want to be aware. They don't want any surprises. And this one is actually I think a more well-known brand. So I need to do a little bit of research on this one, because just by looking at the label, I think it might be something a little bit more special. There we go. And it's a size, tagged a vintage size 14. And this definitely is a large dress. Like, I would say, you know, maybe it's not a 14, maybe it's a 12, but it is pretty good on the sizing. There's little belt loops, but there's no belt. So that's something I put in the description. The waist has a little stretch to it, which is nice, because people who are searching vintage or in this fitted style sometimes want a little give in the waist. If you're going to a picnic, you want to have your room for the watermelon, I guess. At least I would. This one's a North Dakota dress. I love the details on this dress. This one does have a well-known vintage style brand name, and that's Gunny Sacks, and the Gunny Sack dress by Jessica McClintock. I think that's how you say it. But her dresses are very popular, especially her 70s style dresses, and I've actually gotten one other Gunny Sack dress from this lady that I've already sold. Like, I sold around Halloween, around like Renaissance fairs, and that was a 70s style Gunny Sack dress, and oh, it was gorgeous. Like, it sold full price for like $70. It was amazing. This one is really neat and interesting, but it's not my favorite style. This is more like 80s style with the ruffle here. I still really like the details, all the lace, and the back is really, really good. It has the button up back. It's really just delicate and intricate detailing. And there's the tie waist in the back. There's side pockets. This one just seems to be a little bit more faded and worn, but it's still in great condition. I think that this is a really good brand to look out for as far as vintage is concerned, because people do search Gunny Sack dresses. So This is a midi length. It's definitely fitted at the waist, and then it's not maxi, so maxi would go all the way to the floor. This is gonna come right above, more mid-calf, above your ankle, but not above the knee. Okay, so I will definitely try to model this one if it will fit me. I think it might. It's tagged a vintage size 7, but it's going to fit like an X small, most definitely. So we'll see. And so the next 3 also all came from North Dakota from the same lady, and they're pretty tiny pieces. This one I'm not sure about, actually. This one, I'm not sure as in the quality and the material are funky. Like, I've never picked up a dress of this material. It feels like a beach cover-up. It says it's a size 5 vintage, which is teeny tiny. Like, this is tiny. But this one, there's like some nicks in it, and it kind of wants to like stick together. It's still just a gorgeous pastel color that I'm just in love with this. And also these dresses, this style of dress does really well for me on Poshmark. It's a more of a shirt dress, so it buttons like up halfway, so like the top of it is buttons up, and then it has an elastic waist, so it can fit more of a variety of waists. And then it's a midi length again. It has a little side slit, which is cute. It makes it a little easier to walk. And it kind of has a cap sleeve, a little bit of a cap sleeve, so that's nice. But it's a really pretty color. It just has some snags in it, so you know, I won't be able to list this one for very much. It just seems to have more wear, a little pilling even. So this one, I got a really good deal on because I got it from the lady in North Dakota, but I wouldn't probably necessarily pick this one up at the thrift store, just because I don't really like the way the fabric feels. But someone else might like it. It's cozy. It wouldn't be like itchy or something. I do think it would have been a good beach cover-up. This next one is like exactly the same as that last peachy one. I don't know why my camera keeps unfocusing like that. And it's the same color. Oh my gosh, I really like this color. I need to do my nails. I have, that was random. I have a color purple that is exactly this color for my nails, and it's my favorite. And now I really want to do my nails purple because I keep seeing this color. It's too fabulous. I'm trying to button these up. Okay, I just love selling vintage shirt dresses. I think they're so fun, and you can dress them up, and you can wear them to picnics. You can wear them to work. Okay, here we go. So it's basically the same style as that last one I showed you, where it's kind of that button up a little bit. It's got a shirt collar. It's got little sleeves. It has the breast pockets. This one's so cute. Okay, it's got the elastic waist, which is awesome, and it has a little side slit here, which does have some wear, like it's kind of coming apart, so I'll just photograph that. I could resew it, but I don't know that I will. I think I might just leave it. This one's more cotton. This one feels a lot better. It's, yeah, I would wear this 100%. It's cute. With a denim jacket even. Okay. And this is the last one before story time. I really like this. So this says it's a size 3. It's definitely like an X small. It's kind of got an oversized dolman top, which is kind of fun. And again, these pastel colors are just killing me. My natural lighting is going all sorts of weird here. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyways, we're back to that elastic waist again. This one has belt loops, so you could add a belt with it. It didn't come with the belt. I'm sure just over time, over the years, it was lost or worn with something else or whatever the case, but I really like this. This one's more of a sweater knit. Let me see if the fabric is in here. Sometimes it is. So it's a polyester acrylic and metallic, 4% metallic. So if you were to look really closely in the stripes of this, there's some like metallic silver and gold stripe. So it's just like woven in. So I'm guessing that's the 4% metallic. but it's really unique. I like rainbow type prints. I like using that in the description, and oftentimes when I have rainbow type stuff, buyers will comment that they're wearing it to pride parades, which I might even include that in the listing, like wear it to pride. I don't know. I think it's so cute. You wouldn't have to wear it to pride. You could just wear it and have pride while you're wearing it. Okay, friends. I have some stories for you. So as I dug these out yesterday in preparation for spring, I found two pieces that are very, very special. One I will be listing and one I will not be listing. One of these items I have moved around the country, literally, and it was, or is, this piece. I have had this since I was in elementary school. I kid you not. This dress was my first vintage dress buy that I remember. I mean, I really think this was the first one because we lived in Nebraska for about 2.5 years when I was in elementary school, beginning of middle school. And I remember buying this dress in Nebraska at a garage sale. It was either the summer going into my 5th grade year or the summer going into my 6th grade year. I'm guessing it was the summer going into my 6th grade year. But we moved a lot when I was a kid, and this has made not only the moves for me when I was a kid, but my moves as an adult. So all through college, I moved this around. It moved with me to Seattle. It's moved from Seattle to here. It literally has been in Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Washington, and now it's in Minnesota. I have moved this dress everywhere with me, and let's just talk about it a little bit because it's amazing. You can see the lace design. It is like, has a blue satin lining. It's got this button front. It is just amazing. I think that's like really when I started like really looking at vintage clothing and wanting to buy it. There are some stains and like discoloration, and I don't know if that has happened through the moves or if it's always been that way. I can't remember. I have worn this dress once, like out in public, and I wore it in high school for a presentation. I was like doing a huge like presentation for one of my classes, and it was like a historical based, and I covered women's fashion, and I think it just covered fashion in general, and I also covered like just women during the time period. I don't remember exactly the details, but I know I wore this for that presentation. I don't know if it would still fit me, but I can't get rid of it. This is my first ever vintage buy that I can remember, so this is really important. And the next funny story. This one I will be listing on Posh. I actually had it listed once upon a time and I had a ton of attention, but it never sold. So I'm going to rephotograph it and just relist it. Of course, I don't know if you can see, it is polka dots and ruffles. Oh my. This dress is hilarious to me because I'm pretty sure it's handmade because all the stitching looks like it was sewn in by someone by hand and all of that jazz. There's no tags. It's really hard for me to date this because the fabric feels more modern. I would say this was like an early 90s, but maybe even late 80s dress because of the ruffle. It's pretty eccentric. This dress, though, I bought in Seattle at a thrift store for myself. I actually wore it I think I wore it the last day of school when I was teaching K1. We had a fairy tale theme in our classroom, and I wore this dress the last day before we had a concert or I don't think it was a concert. So that evening we had like some sort of celebration for the last day. And I changed for the celebration, but I wore this during the day, and after school, a bunch of teachers and we went out to have drinks before we had to go back to the school for the end of year celebration. So I'm wearing this in like a bar, like not a regular like sports bar, but it was still a bar area. we were sitting at a booth and I'm wearing this dress. Okay, just imagine me wearing it here. Okay, and I'm with 3 other gals, and an older man comes up to our table and he was just like, oh my gosh, that dress. He's like, here's $20 because that dress is amazing. He literally gave our table $20 because I was wearing this ridiculous dress, which is not ridiculous. It is fabulous. Okay, so this dress has made me money already, but someone else needs to wear this dress. And I don't know that it really would fit me anymore. We'll see. I'll try it on and try to model it so that you can buy it. But it is lined. It has a really thick, oh yeah, this is why I think it's handmade. There's just some little flaws in it, but in the sewing of it, and it's kind of raw. Anyways, this dress is fabulous, and it has made me money already. I want it to make me a little bit more money, and then I want it to bring joy to whoever wears it next. Maybe it's you. Maybe you will wear this frilly thing. I would use the words retro, pinup, of course vintage, and ruffle, fit flare, because it's got a full skirt. Anywho, that's really that's it, mostly. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about vintage, leave them down below. If you have any other funny vintage related stories, please leave them down below because I would love to hear them. Has anyone ever given you money for wearing a dress? Just curious. That was an odd experience, but very funny. And let's see. Also, you can subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any other videos and interesting stories. And thank you so much for watching.